You've been training for months, maybe even years. Your chest is growing. Your arms are filling out your sleeves. But when you look in the mirror with a shirt on, something's off. You don't look jacked. You look narrow, like you could still blow away in a strong wind. Here's the thing that drives people insane. You take progress photos in a tank top, and yeah, you can see muscle. Your chest has shape. Your arms have separation. You're making gains. But the second you put on a regular t-shirt to go literally anywhere in public, all that progress disappears. You look like you've never touched a weight in your life, and it's not in your head. People who haven't seen you in months ask if you've been working out, like they're not even sure. The muscle you're skipping isn't your chest. It's not your biceps, even though everyone thinks big arms are the answer. It's not even your lats. And yes, I know you've heard grow your back to look bigger from the front. The muscle that actually makes you look jacked is your shoulders. Specifically, your lateral delts. These are the middle head of your shoulder that sits on the side of your arm. And if you're not training them properly, you're building a great physique that nobody will ever notice because you look narrow as hell. And before you jump into the comments saying, I do shoulder press, bro, yeah, that's the problem. Let me show you why that's not enough and what you actually need to do. First, let me explain why this one muscle changes everything about how big you look, even if nothing else grows. Your body works on ratios, not absolute size. Think of your physique like building a house. Most people spend all their time making the house taller, building up their chest, adding floors with arm work, stacking the back, but they never make the house wider. So you end up with this tall, narrow building that looks unstable and unimpressive. Your lateral delts are literally the frame of your upper body. When they grow, they push your arms away from your torso. This creates the V taper that makes you look powerful. Without them, your arms hang straight down and you look like a rectangle with limbs. Here's a number that will change how you see everything. For every inch you add to your shoulder width, you can appear 10 to 15 pounds heavier without gaining any actual weight. That's the illusion of size. That's why some guys at 170 look jacked and some guys at 190 look average. It's not the weight on the scale. It's the frame holding everything together. Now, I know what you're thinking, but I do overhead press. I do military press. My shoulders get worked. Yeah, they do. Your front delts get worked. Those are the muscles on the front of your shoulder that help you push. And they're probably overdeveloped if you're like most people who love bench press. But your lateral delts, the ones that actually create width, they barely get touched by pressing movements. Overhead press hits maybe 30% of what your lateral delts can do. The rest is all front delt, with some upper chest and triceps thrown in. Here's what nobody tells you. Your front delts are already getting hammered every time you bench press, every time you do incline press, every time you do dips. They don't need more work. But your lateral delts, they get almost nothing from those movements. They're sitting there, undertrained and underdeveloped, while you keep piling on more pressing volume, wondering why you still look narrow. I made this exact mistake for my first 2 years of training. I thought I was training shoulders because I was pressing heavy. My front delts were sore, so obviously I was doing something, right? Wrong. When I finally measured my shoulder width, I had gained maybe half an inch in 2 years. My chest had grown 3 inches. My arms had grown 2 inches. But my frame, basically the same. That's when I realized why I still looked small in regular clothes. I had muscle, but I had no structure. And structure is what people actually see when you're wearing anything other than a tank top at the gym. So if pressing doesn't build lateral delts, what does? Let me show you the 3 exercises that actually work, and more importantly, how to do them without wasting your time like I did. The movement is the dumbbell lateral raise. Stand up, dumbbells at your sides, lift them out to the side until your arms are parallel to the ground. Simple, right? Wrong. This is one of the most butchered exercises in the entire gym. Here's what I see every single day. Someone grabs dumbbells that are way too heavy, swings them up using momentum, lifts them way too high so their traps take over, and then lets them drop. Congratulations! You just trained your ego and your trapezius. Your lateral delts did almost nothing. Let me tell you how to actually do this movement. First, the weight needs to be light. And when I say light, I mean embarrassingly light if you're used to pressing movements. I'm talking 10 to 15 pound dumbbells for most people. Maybe 20 if you're strong. Yes, even if you can shoulder press 60-pound dumbbells. Your ego is going to hate this, but your shoulders will actually grow. Here's why. Your lateral delts are small muscles with terrible leverage. When you lift your arm out to the side, there's maybe 12 to 18 inches between your shoulder joint and the weight. That's a long lever, which means even light weights create massive tension. It's basic physics. The longer the lever, the harder the work, even with less weight. Second, the movement is pure side raise. Not forward, not backward, straight to the side. Imagine you're pouring out 2 cups of water. Your thumbs tilt down slightly at the top. This keeps the tension on the lateral delt instead of letting your front delt or trap steal the work. The second you start lifting forward or shrugging up, you've lost the plot. Third, you stop when your arms are parallel to the ground. Going higher just shifts the work to your traps. We don't need more trap work. Your traps get plenty of stimulus from deadlifts, rows, and shrugs if you do them. This is about the lateral delt and nothing else. Now, here's where it gets interesting. You need more volume on lateral delts than almost any other muscle. Research suggests 10 to 20 sets per week for optimal growth. That might sound insane if you're used to doing 9 sets total for chest. But lateral delts recover quickly and respond to frequent stimulus. They're built for endurance work because they stabilize your shoulder joint all day long. They can handle the volume. So here's the formula. 3 times per week, you're doing lateral raises. And you're doing 3 different variations to hit them from slightly different angles and prevent your body from adapting and getting lazy. Variation 1 is the standing dumbbell lateral raise. 3 sets of 12 to 15 reps. Focus on control. 2 seconds up. Pause at the top for 1 second. 3 seconds down. No swinging. No momentum. Just smooth, controlled reps where you actually feel the muscle working. Variation 2 is the cable lateral raise. Use a cable machine set to the lowest position. Stand sideways and pull the handle across your body. This keeps constant tension on the muscle throughout the entire range of motion. Dumbbells lose tension at the bottom, but cables don't. 3 sets of 15 to 20 reps. Variation 3 is the seated dumbbell lateral raise. Sitting removes your ability to use momentum or leg drive. It forces strict form whether you like it or not. 3 sets of 12 to 15 reps. This one will humble you real quick. That's 9 sets right there. Add them across 3 workouts per week, and you're in the sweet spot for growth. But here's where people mess this up. They do the exercises, but they don't progress them correctly. Let me show you what progressive overload actually looks like for lateral delts, because it's different than what you're used to. With big compound lifts like bench press or squat, you can add 5 to 10 pounds every week when you're new. You go from empty bar to 135 to 185 pretty quickly. Your brain loves this because progress feels obvious and fast. Lateral raises don't work like that. You're not going from 10-pound dumbbells to 50-pound dumbbells in 3 months. You'll be lucky to go from 10s to 15s in that time. And you know what? That's exactly what you should expect. Here's how progression actually works for lateral delts. You start with a weight you can do for 12 clean reps. And I mean clean. No swinging, no momentum, full control. Once you can do 15 to 18 reps with that weight while maintaining perfect form, you go up by 2.5 pounds. Not 5, not 10, just 2.5. This means you need to buy those little 1.25 pound plates or fractional plates, or use the fixed dumbbells and go from 10s to 12.5s to 15s. The jumps are small because the muscle is small and the leverage is terrible. You can't cheat physics. Most people quit here. They think because they're not adding weight fast, nothing is happening. This is the exact moment I quit the first time. I got impatient, jumped up in weight too fast to feel like I was progressing, started using terrible form with momentum and body English, and my shoulders hurt for weeks. Not good sore, bad hurt. When I came back to it, I had to start over with lighter weight than before. So I wasted a month being stupid. Here's the truth that nobody wants to hear. Your lateral delts might take 6 to 12 months to develop, to the point where people notice. That's not 6 to 12 weeks. That's up to a full year of consistent work before someone says, damn, your shoulders got big. But here's why that's good news. Most people won't do it. They'll try for a month, see no immediate results in the mirror, and go back to whatever they were doing before. Probably more bench press. Which means if you actually stick with this for 6 months, you'll have an advantage over 95% of people in the gym. You'll be the guy who looks wide in a t-shirt while everyone else still looks like they're borrowing their dad's clothes. And here's the other thing. Once you build them, they're relatively easy to maintain. You can drop down to 6 to 9 sets per week and keep almost all your size. But you have to build them first. You can't maintain what you never developed. Also, measure your shoulder width with a tape measure. Arm to arm, straight across your delts at the widest point. Write it down. Check it every 4 weeks. The mirror lies when changes happen slowly. Your brain adjusts to what you see every day, but the tape measure doesn't lie. When you've added an inch to your shoulder width, you'll know, even if your brain hasn't caught up yet. Track your weights too. Write down what dumbbells you used and how many reps you got. Next workout, try to beat it by 1 rep. When you hit 18 reps, go up in weight. That's the game. Simple, but not easy. Now, doing the exercises is one thing, but if your nutrition is off, you're wasting your time. Let me tell you exactly what you need to eat to actually build this muscle. You can't build muscle in a calorie deficit. Yes, you can get stronger. Yes, you can improve your form and mind-muscle connection. But actual muscle tissue? That requires a surplus. If you're trying to get shredded while building your shoulders, pick one goal. Cut first or build first. But you can't do both efficiently. Your body doesn't work that way. For building, you need about 200 to 300 calories above your maintenance. Type TDEE calculator into your browser. Find your maintenance number and add 250 calories. That's it. You don't need a massive bulk to build lateral delts. They're small muscles. A slight surplus is enough. You're not trying to gain a pound a week. You're trying to give your body just enough extra energy to repair and grow this one specific muscle group. Protein stays the same as always. 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight, spread across 3 to 5 meals. Nothing fancy. No special timing needed for shoulders specifically. Just hit your protein target and you're good. One thing people don't talk about is sleep. Your shoulders are technically ball and socket joints held together mostly by small muscles and connective tissue. When you're doing high-volume lateral raises 3 times a week, you're putting repetitive stress on those structures. If you're only sleeping 5 to 6 hours a night, your joints don't recover properly. The muscle might be ready to go again, but the connective tissue isn't. This leads to that achy shoulder feeling that makes you want to skip the workout. Then you skip one workout, then another, and suddenly you've lost momentum. 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Non-negotiable if you want this to work long-term without your shoulders feeling like rusty door hinges. Equipment-wise, you need dumbbells or cables. If you're training at home and only have dumbbells, that's fine. You can do all standing dumbbell lateral raises and just vary your rep ranges across the 3 weekly workouts. One day heavier for 8 to 10 reps, one day moderate for 12 to 15, one day lighter for 18 to 20. If you have resistance bands, those work too. Loop them under your feet and do the same lateral raise motion. The resistance curve is actually similar to cables. Timeline reality check. At 4 weeks, you'll feel the muscle working better. Your mind-muscle connection improves, and you'll actually know what it feels like when your lateral delts are doing the work. At 8 weeks, you might notice a small change in the mirror if you're looking for it. At 12 weeks, other people might start noticing. At 6 months, you'll look noticeably wider, and people will definitely ask what you've been doing differently. This is not fast, but it's permanent if you maintain it. So let me bring this all together and tell you exactly what to do starting tomorrow. Here's everything in simple terms. Your lateral delts create your frame. Your frame is what makes you look jacked in clothes. Pressing movements don't build them enough. You need 10 to 20 sets of direct lateral raise work per week, spread across 3 workouts. The movements are simple. Standing dumbbell lateral raise, cable lateral raise, seated dumbbell lateral raise. 3 sets each, 3 times per week. Lightweight, perfect form, 12 to 20 reps. Control the movement. Feel the muscle doing the work. Stop at parallel. No momentum. Progress slowly. Add 2.5 pounds every 3 to 4 weeks. Measure your shoulder width with a tape measure every month. Write it down. Track your weights and reps. Expect this to take 6 to 12 months before people start asking if you've been hitting the gym harder. And understand something. This isn't a hack. This isn't some secret exercise that will transform you in 30 days. This is targeted, strategic work on a muscle that most people completely ignore because it's not exciting. There's no ego boost from lateral raising 15-pound dumbbells. But in 6 months, when you're filling out t-shirts and people are noticing your frame before they even see your arms, you'll understand that boring consistency on the right things beats exciting inconsistency on random stuff every single time. Most people won't do this. They'll nod along, maybe even try it for 2 weeks, and then go back to whatever they were doing before. Why? Because lateral raises aren't fun. They're not heavy. They don't make you feel strong in the moment. But if you're still here, you're different. You're someone who cares more about looking jacked in 6 months than feeling jacked in the next 10 minutes. Your lateral delts are the difference between looking like you lift and actually looking jacked. Everything else you're doing is building muscle nobody sees. This builds the frame everybody notices. Now, you know what to do. The only question is whether you'll actually do it.